Hi everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of Attree Unplugged. Today, just having a quick chat with the licensee Nathan Want around the rental reforms as they roll out, with some taking effect July 1. G'day Nathan, how you going?
Good mate, how are you?
Good. So as I mentioned off the top, some of these have taken effect already, but some are still rolling out from July 1 as well. So just wanted to touch base. There's been I've seen a lot of on social media around it. And just wanted to jump on and have a quick chat about them. Kick us off. Let's talk about rent bidding.
Yeah, so I think like a real positive.
Yep.
As an agency, as an industry, we can't encourage tenants to rent bid. So pretty self-explanatory. You offer 420. The leasing agent or the property manager goes to another tenant and say, "Hey, Bo's offer 420. Why don't you offer 440?"
Yep.
Outlawed.
No.
Positive, right?
Absolutely, and it's not something that's going to affect us as an agency
100%.
perspective. We really pride where we price our properties.
Yep.
And not always the most attractive thing, offering more money.
No, it's not. Sometimes it can be a red flag, but ultimately you are still able to offer more money. We will just not be and not allowed to be encouraging it. Also tied into that, mate, is and we don't do it as well, but the from pricing on rentals and that sort of jazz. So look, you go to market at a price and back yourself into have done your research and set the price at the correct rate, and wait for the impact from the.
Absolutely. The next one we're going to both struggle with. It's a big word, retaliatory action. But that's designed around, and I think that the best way to explain it is if I'm the landlord and you're the tenant, and you've had lots of maintenance requests and things like that through the duration of the tenancy, and I decide that because of this, I'm not renewing the lease.
Yeah, like that's, and I can't spell the word, so I'm not going to say it. That's a great example, and I mean, they still need to be valid maintenance requests. So there's processes in place to identify that. But yeah, like if you're a tenant and you've got issues with the property and the landlord's not actioning on those issues, well, just to kick you out for those reasons is another great change to the rules in the Act. And ultimately, as a landlord, there's responsibilities there. So own those responsibilities, and if things need to get fixed, let's get them done.
Absolutely. And the other alternative is they might turn around and say, well, all these maintenance requests over the last 12 months are going to jack the rent up maybe $50, $100 per week, maybe on top of what the market rate is to try and offset those costs, which again is not allowed anymore.
Yeah, brilliant.
Next one, 12-month rent rises.
Yeah. I mean,
simple.
Pretty simple. Interesting in this market. I mean, you go back 3 or 4 years ago, and all we did was 12-month rent rises. So obviously the market shifted considerably, and there have been a lot of inquiries and quite a few 6-month rent rises. So yeah, look, change the rules and it is what it is.
And that's somewhere we probably pride ourselves as well with our renewal process, which we'll touch on another episode. But we try and rectify that with the processes that we've got in place.
So and internally, a few little tinkers we need to do to make sure there's checks and balances in place. But rules are the rules, and we'll get on with it.
Absolutely. Furry friends and pets.
Interesting.
Yeah. So obviously, you can apply to have a pet.
You can.
At the property, there's got to be, I think there's a formal documentation that you've got to fill in and supply. Landlords cannot say no. They can, but within reason. There's got to be processes they've got to follow. So I think one of the reasonable grounds was, if you want a dog and the property's not fully fenced, then that can potentially be something that you can go to the commissioner with. What are your thoughts around that?
Yeah, look, there is an avenue there to have the hard line of no. I think in the world and the environment we live in, opening up applications to pets is a good thing, right? Because I think people get scared around the pet issue, but there are a lot of checks and balances in place to ensure that the pet just can't run wild. There's pet bonds, there's still bonds, etc. So the tenant still has a lot of responsibility with the pet. I'm okay with it. I'm okay that if you've got a really good application, and we do new business, so we have these conversations. And if they do have a pet, let's give them an opportunity. So yeah, I'm glad there are options there for people that I think there's allergies as well.
Mm-hmm.
You can go ground, which is great. So yeah, mate. All in all, not the end of the world.
No, it's not, and I think there's a lot more people with pets.
100%.
So by opening yourself up to that, obviously a greater share of tenants will apply for the property.
Agreed.
And sometimes the pet applications we receive, they're good, aren't they?
Next level, mate. The pet applications are better than the applications.
It's got to resonate.
And that's the pride that people have in their pets.
Correct. Yeah.
So look, manageable, and again, like I said, not the end.
Yeah. One that was probably scaring landlords when they were coming out around the modifications. Yeah. And they're only minor.
Yeah.
They're only minor, and the most important thing to remember is it's got to be rectified at the end of the tenancy.
Full stop. Yeah. So that's the key point. And again, this goes to the importance of the property condition report and documenting the state of that home.
Absolutely.
And if there are minor modifications, no stress.
Yep.
But, Mr. and Mrs. Tenant, that when you leave, unless the owner agrees, that needs to be rectified.
Correct. And that's the dialogue around it, isn't it, as well, is absolutely make your home as comfortable as you possibly can.
Yeah.
But bear in mind that you've got to return that at the end of the tenancy.
Absolutely. You need to live and enjoy yourself,
mm-hmm.
but it's potentially needs to be returned as you got it. So that's something that everyone needs to be well aware of.
Yep. The final one we'll touch on is around the bond processes, the bond releases, which I actually quite like.
Yeah, it's an interesting process at the moment,
mm-hmm.
and can sometimes be somewhat convoluted,
mm-hmm.
because if we touch on quickly, the biggest area of friction in any property management business, I would assume, is bond time, because there's so many expectations across the board, tenant, owner, property manager, whereas this seems to be able to streamline a decision, because as you know, we don't make those decisions. It needs to be agreed.
mm-hmm.
To have an avenue to maybe handle those quicker is a really good thing.
Yeah, so essentially what to do is the application would be made towards bond admin. If obviously both parties don't agree, then the case is heard from the commissioner.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And let's get the commissioner to decide, and having a third party look over everyone's, again, expectations, I think is a good thing.
Yep.
Majority of the time we come to a conclusion, but we're here to try and mediate from both parties and get a result. So, again, not a bad thing.
Beautiful. Look, they're the reforms that I wanted to touch on today.
Brilliant.
Like I said, there's been a lot out there in social media and the releases that we've had from DEMO. So we just wanted to touch on here and go through it and share as much information as we possibly can.
Yeah.
We've previously done the journey of Attree Real Estate and how that's evolved, and then sharing that with the community. The next stages that we're going to be going into are probably more around the educational and the processes internally that we can share, which we'll touch on shortly.
Yeah, no, Mark, look forward to it. It's good fun.
So don't forget to subscribe, guys. We've got new episodes coming out every week. Thanks.
Cheers, legend. Ciao.